What's up, guys? Welcome to Real Conservative Talk. And before I start, the little button on the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, hit it and go subscribe, please. Now, today's tax day. Worst day of the damn year. Especially if you're a 1099. I feel for you. I know how you feel. You always got to write that check at the end of the year. So, I figured what better to do than to go and start criticizing the very people that want to take more from us, the socialists and the communists of our country. So what we're going to do today is go over some TikToks that I found about people talking good about socialism and communism, and we're just going to make fun of them. So let's do it.
So I'm from Russia, right? And now I'm getting my bachelor's in America. And let me tell you something crazy that I realized. When I first arrived to the States, I would always hear this thing. If you're first generation in your family to go to college or university, blah, 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 right? But the point is that that sentence never sounded right in my head. Why? I would just be like, why I never heard such thing before? And then it clicked. My parents went to university, and their parents went to university, and their parents went to university. 'Cause of communism, bitch! Education.
That sounds like slavery, bitch. Look, come on. First of all, she said she came from Russia. If communism was so great, then it would still be around in Russia. Ever think about that? Soviet Union fell for a reason, right? There was a coup for a reason, right? Okay, that's what I thought. So, yeah. If everyone goes to school, then everyone's the same. You know, it used to be here that not everyone graduated from high school. The further you go back, not everyone even went to school. We base our economies off competition. That's what drives us. We're a very competitive society here in the United States especially, but capitalist societies are very competitive. You see that with sports, you see that with other things. Now, if everyone has a college degree, that is the new baseline, which means that now what? Everyone has to go get a master's degree? Okay, so we're going to start complaining about that. So we're going to make that free. Now what? How do you separate yourself apart? You have to go get a doctorate degree. Then they make that free, and now everyone has that. So what do? You got to find something else. You have to be competitive, and it's going to take either extra time or extra resources. It's all about how you utilize those resources. Here's the other thing. You look at what the Soviet Union used to do. Yeah, okay, maybe everyone did go to university. They also would assign you to your job, bitch. You didn't get to choose. They chose for you. So, okay, we're going to give up paying for university. But we're just going to pay for it with our own fucking freedom. That sounds like a good idea, huh? Yep. Never heard a better idea than that. Give up our freedom so college is free. Okay. Next, please.
Their first time out of Cuba in the connecting airport left them speechless.
En un aeropuerto whey protein.
I don't mean to laugh. He said whey protein at the airport? Look, this should be an eye-opener. And you ever wonder why the professors and the teachers and the activists for communism are always people that have never experienced communism, ever. But the people that have, that come here, don't want to go back. There's KGB spies that stay here. They don't want to go back. They're not KGB anymore, by the way. They're FSB now is what they would be, but I'm talking about from the Soviet Union. But these guys are from Cuba, a communist country. They'd never left Cuba, it says. They get to this airport and immediately their minds are just blown by the technology, by the lights, by the stores, the clothes, all of that. It's a different world. He even says in a second, am I from Saturn or something? Like, this isn't even the same world. The opportunities that are provided to us that we take for granted, only to be okay with going to a system that makes us less efficient and takes all of those opportunities away. You know what the definition of insanity is, right? Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. That's communism. Failing at it over and over again, expecting it to eventually be successful. It's not. Because they fail to take into consideration human nature with it. And basic economic principles. Next.
Are you stupid?
Alright, this says, me listening to religious people describe heaven as a moneyless, stateless, classless world, then criticize communism. I see the point she's trying to make. The problem is, I don't think there's scarce resources in heaven. So you're completely denying the basic concept that we have to deal with here on planet Earth, and that is supply and demand because of scarcity. If there's unlimited resources, there'd be unlimited supply, and demand would just be whatever. I mean, you wouldn't have to worry about demand. You just get anything on demand, right? So that's the difference. Okay? Maybe these religious people that are criticizing communism are well aware of the simple economic principle of scarcity. Next.
English is my favorite subject, my favorite. What is your favorite subject? English all.
Alright, that's annoying. It says, me turning any English essay I wrote in high school into an anti-capitalist communist propaganda. I'm just going to safely assume, call me an ass if you want to, that he just doesn't know the full extent of what communism actually is. Again, people think it's just, sharing is caring. No, it's not. Sharing is slavery in the sense of communism and Marx in the Marxist ideology. All right? There's no other way to describe it. Look at North Korea, look at China. By the way, China, people see this as this great big economy. It's this huge economy because they have, 1.5 billion people? They reproduce, every 2 months. But what you don't know is that the United States GDP per capita, I believe, is around $60,000, give or take. In China, it's 10. There's a substantial wealth gap between the average American and the average Chinese person. And then you look at Korea, and it's not even fucking close. In fact, Korea, they are starving to death. And that is communism. There's never been a capitalist country have a severe famine like that, at least not in the last century. But there's been 3 or 4 or 5 even communist or socialist or democratic socialist. By the way, I want you to go do some homework. Go look up every country that has the word democratic in it. And you will see that they all are communist or socialist countries, by the way. Fun fact. So, people are going to say, well, you're saying you don't like democracy? I'm saying that the United States is a republic, for one. I'm saying that the ones that have to claim that they're a democracy or a republic, they're actually communist. So these people that are claiming to be democratic socialist, it even says in the Communist Manifesto, these democratic socialists are communists that just haven't admitted it yet. Just throwing it out there. Speaking of North Korea. Kind of a famous event, at least I know about it. And he was a soldier and he was defecting. And they ended up shooting him a bunch of times. He got over and hit against the wall on the South Korean side. He was shot up a bunch of times, almost died. I think they found worms in him. He was severely malnourished, like a lot of the people in North Korea are. And they were, think about it, they were shooting him. They don't want him to leave. They don't want anyone to come in. They don't want anyone to leave. Why? Because they want control. Again, this is a communist country. North Korea is not anything special kind of economy or crazy thing. No. He operates the same way Stalin did, the same way Lenin did. Gorbachev was a little different, but look what happened with Gorbachev, right? He had a coup against him, and you see where we're at now. This is a communist society. And the same thing goes for China, by the way. They have like a shoot-on-sight order when you're crossing borders in China. They don't want you to leave. They don't want you to go or to come in. It's simple. They're hiding something, or they want to keep you there. They want to control you. So they also have slave labor, by the way.
I have a question, and don't fight me because I know how you girls like to tussle.
I think I can answer this. I'm not a liberal. I'm a communist. Yeah, it's different.
All right, I don't know what this guy's doing, but she asked, why do liberal girls dye their hair blue? And she says, well, first of all, I'm not a liberal. I'm a communist. Now, if she was in Australia, I'd say, oh, there's a difference. Here in the United States, there's less and less of a difference every day. There are liberals, and I have friends that are liberals, that are not communists. They're capitalists from the word go. But the people that are like my generation and that are coming up into the liberal ideology, it is extremely left. And they say, we're socialists. No, you're communist. Socialism is just a transition from capitalism to communism, by the way. Again, it states that in the Communist Manifesto. You have to go read it. So these people are saying this with a blind eye. They don't know what it means. By the way, another fun fact, it also states in the Communist Manifesto that these elites, or these high-ups like a Bernie Sanders, that's claiming to be the democratic socialists, are actually fakers, and they don't like them. So a true communist doesn't even like Bernie Sanders and all them. And a true socialist doesn't either, because they think that they're fraud. Another fun fact. This guy's crazy.
Fuck you,
Oh, this is hilarious.
Fuck you bitch.
Your mama.
Yo, mama. Yo, bald-headed ass.
You mad.
I ain't mad, bitch. Look where you working at, but.
You mad. Look where you eating.
Fuck you.
He's just saying the difference in the Cold War, right? Just us yelling back. I thought that was hilarious. Some people. There's another one here. Let's see.
Hey guys, I know we said
So let's say you
Very
own a
good one
pencil
right
factory,
here.
I'm a worker in that pencil factory. But without me, and presumably many others like me, to assemble the pencils, all you would have is a pile of wood, yellow paint, graphite, rubber, and aluminum. And that is worth less than the pencil when you try and sell it. And yet, all of that value added by labor, apart from the wages that you give me, which if we're being honest, there is a major power imbalance in our ability to negotiate that.
All that putting the pencil together requires is basic use of your prefrontal cortex. Then yes, your labor is alienable at lower rates than if you are a doctor. Money only has value because it was traded for labor at one point or the products of labor. So if I take my money and I buy machinery, I have invested my labor in doing that because I didn't get the money from nowhere. The owner of the factory carries the risk, therefore he gets the benefit. If you incur risk, then you're the one who pays the downside. The worker does not pay the downside. Who do you think put more in? The guy who spent millions of dollars buying all the machinery, leasing the place, or you standing outside because you can stick a piece of graphite into a piece of wood?
Exactly, Ben Shapiro. Exactly. People fail to realize we always want to, not we, I don't, but people want to criticize the Bezos and the Musk and all them. You're only worth that much money because of, whatever bullshit reason they come up with. They fail to realize, first of all, the substantial risks that these guys take on, and then the value that they create, not just for themselves, but for the shareholders, which, by the way, people also fail to realize. If you want to take part in Tesla's gains, you can go buy Tesla stock. It's publicly traded. And now, for those of you that may not be able to afford like $1,000 share, you can actually buy partial shares at Charles Schwab or TD Ameritrade. If you have $10, you can go buy $10 worth of a Tesla stock, and you get the same proportionate returns that Elon Musk would. People don't realize this, though, because we don't teach it. That's not necessarily their fault. So I'm here. I'm here to give you that advice. You can take part in that. All right? But don't criticize the business owner for taking all the risk, because if that business goes out of business, right? They're the one that's in debt. The employee loses the job, but the business owner loses the business, the job, and has to pay everything back too that he borrowed. He also is the one that figured out how to mobilize all of the inventory, if we're going to use the pencil example there, to get it there in a very efficient manner so that your basic ass can sit there and jam lead in the wood all day. And I'm not saying employees aren't important. They are. But you also have to remember this, too. In a capitalist society, with a job like that, we're going to use a pencil example, they probably just figure out a machine to replace you anyway if you didn't want to work. You can argue, well, that's a downside in itself. Maybe it is, because that's what communism actually started, because of the Industrial Revolution and the worry that machines were going to take over jobs. That's a good, if you want to argue that, you can argue that. But to say that the business owner, to say that the worker should have as much leverage and bargaining power as the business owner, who's taking all of the risk and doing far more work, working probably twice as many hours per week as you are, by the way, that you're insane. You're absolutely insane if you believe that. And what I would suggest is, we do live here in the United States. You have the opportunity to go start your own business and do it better than the guy that's hired you right now. Take him out of business. It's a competition. You can do that. The American dream is still alive. Maybe it's difficult. Yes, nothing's easy. Nothing is easy at all. It takes work. It takes a lot of hard work. It's not supposed to be easy. People have this utopia dream or this, fantasy that I'm going to be able to study lesbian dance theory in a communist society and everything's going to be so happy, while your ass is probably going to work in a fucking mine somewhere. And no one's a boss. All you do is screw everybody at that point. That's just selfish. See, there's only a scarce amount of resources. There's limited everything. And what people fail to remember is that if you took all the wealth from the top bracket, let's say, from the upper class, you're trying to make everybody equal. That means you have to put everybody in poverty to make everybody equal. You can't lift the bottom up and the middle out like Joe Biden says there is. There's not enough shit in the world to do it. All right? You have to try and incentivize people, but you have to motivate people, and motivating people means that they're going to do things, work hard in certain things, or be smart in certain things, be efficient in other things, right? And be able to climb up through the classes here in the United States. We don't have a caste system. This isn't India. You can start from the bottom and make it up to the top. A lot of people do. Not everyone is going to take advantage of that opportunity, though. But that's their fault. And not everyone can take advantage of that opportunity. I get it. But the majority and the vast majority can. So, there's no better system out there than capitalism. And anyone who wants to argue any different is really just pretty selfish, because they want to take everything away from everybody else that did put the time and the effort in, because they don't want to put the time and the effort in. And that's not right. So I'm going to end it there. Just a quick video today. Want to do those reactions. And again, catch us on here. Probably have a video up every day, every other day. Going to start doing some YouTube lives as well. But we should be on Podbean app. You can call in, interact with us, ask us questions, be a part of the show on Podbean. Usually 6 o'clock Central Time. And hopefully we'll see you there. Again, hit the subscribe button. Thank you.